Welcome to T-Bone's Best of Roanoke show. Music, comedy, and conversation featuring HB, the Honey Badger.
Honey Badger don't care.
Now, on with the show.
This is Radio Free Roanoke, and this is episode 188. T-Bone's Best of Roanoke show, HB. If you've been alive in Southwest or Southside Virginia over the past 40 years, you've heard his name, you've read his work. He's Dwayne Yancey. Dwayne Yancey, executive editor for Cardinal News. Dwayne, thank you for sharing your lunchtime with us.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, Cardinal News. It's an independent, nonpartisan, nonprofit news service that you're in. You're into your third year now. Tell us. Let's get started. Right. Let's jump right into it. Tell us what was going on back in 2021, where a group of people got together and say, "Hey, you know what? There's a need for something else." Well, what was the germination of Cardinal News?
The very short version is that I can give you both the short version and the long version. The short version is that many of us involved with the founding of Cardinal were previously with the Roanoke Times, and we saw how newspapers were declining, and we thought there was a better option. That's the very short version. If you want the longer version, I'll be happy to tell you. There were really sort of two origin points, mine and that of Luann Rife, our executive director, but they all happened about the same time and soon converged. I've been at the Roanoke Times for 39 years. By the spring of 2021, I was the editorial page editor. At Luann at the time, I had been there quite a while as well. She was the healthcare reporter. In many years past, the Roanoke Times has been owned by Landmark Communications, of the Batten family out of Norfolk. And in hindsight, we didn't quite realize what good owners they were. But like many things, you don't realize things until they're over. So by the spring of 2021, we were owned by Lee Enterprises, media company out of Iowa. And the paper was going through yet another series of layoffs. And so in the spring of 2021, there was a staff meeting to reorganize yet again with a smaller staff. In that staff meeting, we were told there would no longer be any capacity for any in-depth reporting. At that point, my colleague Luann decided that she had had enough, and she was just going to retire. About a week after she retired, she was contacted by a small family foundation out of Blacksburg. The family ran it, was very upset, said, "I'll give you $100,000 a year if you can go start something." Well, you can't start something for $100,000 a year, but that sure looks good when you go around to other potential donors to say, "Hey, we've already got this commitment. Can you match it?" My starting point was the same time, a different thing. As part of those layoffs and reorganization, the paper eliminated the political beat. And that wasn't my job. I had a different job. I was the editorial page editor. But I'm a political junkie from way back, and the paper had a long, proud tradition of political coverage going back to long before I was born. People like Margie Fisher, Ben Beagle, Ozzy Osbourne, reporter, not the rock star.
Right.
And the idea that we were just going to throw all that away, that all that legacy, was just anathema to me. And the idea that the paper is going to pick up its political stories from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, a sister paper, and they may be fine stories. They are fine stories. But they're not covering our legislators or our issues.
And Cardinal News, Dwayne, you really focus on Southwest, Southside Virginia. So if you look at a map of Virginia, would that be like the western third?
Yeah. Yes. We set out, Luann and I soon joined forces, and we set out to create Cardinal with some other people. And the goal was to fill the news void in, as you say, the western third of the state, southwest and south side.
So you wanted to pick up the politics, the economics, the culture of our area that might not really get the in-depth coverage that it would with what was going on back 3 years ago, Roanoke Times.
Correct. We started with funding for 2 reporters, and our first 2 reporters were a political reporter and a business reporter, because those are the 2 things where we saw the greatest void at the time.
Was there a model out there where that other areas or cities have done something like this? Because compare and contrast what Cardinal News is. I can tell you one thing: it's free. With let's say Roanoke Times, but compare and contrast. And were there other models that were maybe giving you some guidance to do this?
Yes. What we're doing is not unique. All around the country right now, you're seeing the rise of nonprofit news sites such as ours. When we launched, there were like maybe 150 some nonprofit news sites that were around and were members of the Institute for Nonprofit News. That's basically the trade association for such things. Now the number is somewhere north of 400. So, a lot of the attention, not surprisingly, is on the decline of legacy newspapers. But markets tend to be self-correcting, and the marketplace for news is correcting itself, and you're seeing the rise of nonprofit news sites such as ours. They come in all shapes, sizes, and flavors. Some are statewide: Texas Tribune, Mississippi Free Press. Some are very hyper local, covering a specific city or neighborhood. And others focus on particular subject areas. Education, healthcare, climate, you name it. There's probably something out there. And then there's us. We cover basically part of a state. We're a regional operation.
Since you started doing this, Dwayne, what kind of feedback have you gotten from your audience?
It has blown us away. A couple things. I mean, first of all, we blew past our 5-year goals in about 18 months.
Wow.
What was your 5-year goal?
Well, it's in the rearview mirror now. We started with 2 reporters. Now we have 8, soon to be 9. And hope to add more. We had a strategic plan done that said that based on our market size and other things that we could be 3 times bigger than we are.
Wow. So it's going well.
We multiply it by 3. Now, that all means you need 3 times as much money. Nothing happens for free.
Yeah.
And you depend upon. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said there's a very high ceiling out there.
I see. And you depend upon donations because, like I said earlier, it's free, which is so neat and very refreshing. You've got reporters like Tad Dickens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know him from the Roanoke Times. We were always very impressed with Tad's work.
Tad's our technology reporter. We have a mix of people covering topics and people covering specific places. So we have a political reporter, a business reporter, an education reporter, a healthcare reporter, technology reporter, that being Tad. We have reporters in Bristol, Martinsville, Danville. We hope soon to have someone in Roanoke, and we hope someday to have someone in Lynchburg.
Okay.
You cover Southwest Virginia to steal a line. You cover Southwest Virginia like the do, don't you?
Well, that's the goal. Yes, there's a lot of dew out there. So,
well, listen. Let me ask you this. This morning, I was curious, so I went to your website, and it said, if you want to get the newsletter, you can. So I clicked on that. Gave me several options. I can get a daily newsletter, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I can get a weekly summary, like on Saturday, of the 10 most popular stories. I can get a newsletter that tells me what events are coming up. It comes out on Thursdays for the region. So I signed up for 2 of those. So I'm a member of your flock now.
Well, thank you. Welcome to the flock. Yes, we have 6 newsletters right now. Yeah, we have the daily, Monday through Friday. We have the weekly digest. We have a weekly events newsletter, a weekly weather newsletter, a weekly politics newsletter, and a monthly history newsletter. And all of those are free.
All of them are free.
Yeah.
And they're well done, because probably 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, I saw an article by you that talked about the different population shifts with Roanoke. We were declining in a couple of areas. It was well thought out, well written. And then I know there's lots of news going on with like Bedford County and Franklin County. Growing maybe as far as a county, but losing as far as school enrollment. So you guys cover that. You cover all kinds of things, even giraffes at Natural Bridge Zoo, right?
Yeah, we had a reporter there till the verdict came in about midnight, and I think we got the story about 1 a.m. A guy up online.
Oh.
All right, now there's a couple of projects you guys have as well. Tell us about your projects for Cardinal News.
Well, where would you like me to begin?
Well, there's the Cardinal 250, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. We are coming up on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Of course, that was 1776, so 250 years later would be 2026. So we are
Okay.
for that. Our 250 project is aimed at every month publishing a package of stories about Virginia's role leading up to and in the Revolution, but with focus on more of the lesser known or untold stories of that era. So not so much Thomas Jefferson and Patrick Henry as the lead mines in Wythe County, or black sailors who
Who served.
in the Virginia Navy,
Right.
and won freedom as a result.
So kind of the untold stories of Virginia.
Yes.
Wow, that's very interesting. And then there was the Cardinal Way, civility rules. Now, what the hey? What's that all about?
We've gotten a grant from the American Press Institute. Of course, sort of the backdrop is, we're in a very polarized country right now, and it has been very difficult for people to, have rational conversations about things. And so, American Press Institute has been, pushing a project, and we're a participant to try to come up with. Try to kind of find ways to kind of tone that down. What we've done is a series of op-eds where we have invited writers on different controversial topics to write pieces with an aim for, how would you explain your position to someone on the other side in a way that they might not necessarily agree with, but understand and engage with in some civil way, and then inviting readers to comment on those.
And then yesterday, was there some type of community event in Lynchburg for a couple of hours where Cardinal staff met with people?
Yeah, been doing a series of open houses around our region. Yesterday we were in Lynchburg. We've been to Danville, Martinsville, Roanoke, Blacksburg. That was Lynchburg. We've got Bristol coming up. I'm sure we will do more. Those are the only ones scheduled right now, but we've got invites to a bunch of other places.
But we could book a Cardinal News traveling road show.
Well, I don't want to make it sound like a Taylor Swift concert. It may not be quite that exciting. But yeah, the goal has been, we have some of our staff there to meet with whoever shows up, and
We got to have something interesting, T-Bone.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
yeah,
we're gonna put that in pencil on the calendar.
okay.
All right, we're talking with Dwayne Yancey, executive editor for Cardinal News. Dwayne, you've been in the belly of the beast, so to speak, for more than 40 years here in Southside Virginia. What changes have you seen on the landscape politically, economically, culturally over the last 40-some years in our area?
Oh man, we could talk a long time.
Yeah.
That's another interview, isn't it? But what do you have one or two that stand out?
Well, I'll try to hit some of those. Politically, we have seen realignment in the political parties. That has not been unique to this part of the state. When I first got involved in covering politics, many rural areas still voted Democratic. Now they were, tended to be conservative Democrats. And then you had, more moderate, sometimes, I'm not sure they would call themselves liberal Republicans, but they were, to the left of those conservative Democrats, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That has certainly changed. Now Democrats are on the left, Republicans are on the right, and there's not much in between. So as a result, we're seeing a lot of, most rural areas now are very Republican. They may be just as conservative as they've always been, but on the election map, they've gone from blue to red. Economically, we've certainly seen the decline, sometimes outright disappearance of a lot of traditional industries. Textiles, tobacco, furniture, coal, and Roanoke railroads. And that is the thing that people ask us why we cover such a wide area. Well, that's really one of the commonalities that, every community's got its own story that's somewhat different, but big picture wise, both Southwest and Southside have the same problem. They've seen their traditional employers go away as the economy has gone through a transition. We just talked about political realignment. We've seen economic realignment.
What's replacing those economic drivers?
Different things in different places, and that is what is not well understood outside the region. And that is one of the things that has surprised us most is how many readers we've gotten from outside this part of the state, and we ask them why they're reading about us. We're not writing about Fairfax County. We might write about Franklin County. That's about part of the state we don't know anything about, because the collapse of a lot of these industries was well told back in the day. The collapse of textiles in Danville, furniture in Martinsville, coal and the coal producing counties. That story is well known. What is not well known is how many of these places, not all, but many, are reinventing themselves. Danville, for instance, has made a remarkable comeback as an advanced manufacturing city, doing all sorts of stuff with gizmos that I have no idea what they are. Roanoke, we used to think of Roanoke as a railroad town. Well, now it's a healthcare town.
Yeah.
Other places may not have been so successful, but they're all working at it, and to some degree.
Everything's in transition.
Yeah, and Danville, what they have a casino now, right? Is that it?
Yeah, they've got a casino, and even with the casino is like sort of the cherry on top.
Yeah.
That's the glamorous part that gets the attention. But even if they have the casino, that city has gone through a remarkable transformation, again, because of advanced manufacturing and companies that I couldn't tell you what they make, but it's something with very sophisticated machinery.
Right.
And Danville's downtown, like many downtowns, once upon a time was empty, and now it's hard to find a place to live there. I mean, it's a happening place.
Oh, yeah.
Danville didn't really get that attention until they got the casino. Then people pay attention.
Yeah.
But even without the casino, there's some exciting things happening there.
Well, one last thought on that culturally. Is there anything you've noticed over the last 40-some years? Any big shifts?
I think we get better music now.
That's a good one, Dwayne.
I mean, I think it's true. I mean, we have a lot more music venues.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yeah.
I mean, I almost started naming some of them, but once you start naming some, you have to name them all, and
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, of course, the whole music landscape has changed anyway, but there are a lot of really fine musicians that are coming through the area and playing some of these venues that many people have never heard of, because you have to sort of be in a particular niche to know who's big and who's not. I'm a big James McMurtry fan. He's been at the Harvester a bunch of times in Rocky Mount. A lot of people have no idea who he is, but to me, he's one of the greatest musicians around.
Right.
Yeah.
Pick some other genre, fill in the blank.
Who else would you go see if you had a chance?
Well, I can tell you who I have gone to see.
All right.
I mean, I've seen Alejandro Escovedo. I've seen Sean Mullins. I see the Nighthawks every time they come through.
Nighthawks, yeah, I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now my mind just went blank, but they're.
Yeah, but you're educating me. Some of those acts I'm gonna look up. Let's look ahead a little bit here, Dwayne. Is there a sneaky good story percolating out there somewhere in the next 6 months or so that you're keeping your eye on that might really turn out to be a really big thing? Is there something out there you're keeping your eye on?
We try to keep our eye on lots of things, but we only have so many eyes.
We got Tad to help you.
Oh, that's true. I mean, speaking of Tad, he covers technology for us. There's a whole lot happening in the technology space that people have no idea about. I can't point to a specific thing. Although, I mean, he did one story a while back on a startup company in Blacksburg where, let's see if I can get the details of this right. The problem with electric vehicle batteries right now is the key ingredients for them are very hard to find. They don't, for the most part, they don't come from the United States. China has a lot of them. And they're things like lithium and who knows what else.
Cadmium, yeah.
These guys have come up with some electric vehicle battery that runs on something else. They haven't disclosed for proprietary reasons what it is, but it is something fairly common, at least around here. And they say if they can, commercialize this, that it could, revolutionize the electric vehicle business. That is not my area of expertise at all.
Right.
But if they are, these are people who are far smarter than me.
We'll stay tuned for that. Now, as we get ready to wind down a little bit, Dwayne, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a opinion writer, editor, but when you get away from the keyboard, what do you like to do?
What do you mean this get away from the keyboard?
Is it attached to you?
Well, I like to go see concerts. I like to go see live theater. I like some sports, baseball.
Who's your favorite team?
Oh,
Salem Red Sox.
Nationals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who were good for a few seasons and now probably won't be.
Have you went and seen them since Amtrak leaves out of Roanoke now? Is that?
Yeah. I love Amtrak.
Yeah.
I've been on that train. I love that.
It was a biggie coming to Roanoke, getting that back.
Especially like that there are two trains, because the first one leaves very early in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. So the second one is a much more civilized hour for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess two trains come back every evening.
Well, I hope two trains come back.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't sure how that worked, I haven't dug into it. I have wrote it before though, and it is great. I went to Boston and back.
Goodness, every time I've left, I've been able to come back. So
Yeah, but
How many editorials in your career you think you've written?
oh gosh, some people might say too many. You know, when I was at the paper, I was writing 7 a week. You know, one every day.
Wow.
Yeah, here at Cardinal, I'm writing 5 a week because we generally don't publish on weekends. Just because online traffic goes down. If there's some reason for us to, we will. So, yeah, I'm kind of slumming it right now, you might say.
Well,
yeah.
but obviously you've put out a lot of opinions there. Once you step away from the keyboard again and you're with your family or your close friends, do they consider you very opinionated, or you just kind of...
No, I'm the least opinionated opinion writer you will find. Editorial page editor of the paper was never something I aspired to be. That was not just, you know, I'm just not that opinionated.
Well,
and I think the reason people like my opinion pieces is they're not that opinionated. They're more analytical. They, you know, I'm right and you're wrong. You know, here's why.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
chocolate is a better flavor than vanilla.
Yeah.
Like instead, you know, here are some surveys that show most people like, you know, this rather than that, or, you know, I mean, there's certainly some opinion in there, but.
Well, you've got one of your fans out there that loves your editorial so much they keep honking their horn. So that says a lot.
While they're honking their horn?
Yeah, can you hear it?
If you can't hear it, that's good.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
anyway, my friend, as we get ready to wrap it up, is there anything else we left out or anything else you want to highlight?
Well, as you said at the beginning, Cardinal News, we're a nonprofit. So, you know, I mean, we operate much like public broadcasting. We rely on, you know, people's donations. We have no paywall. Everything is free. So people can go to the website, cardinalnews.org. They can sign up for a daily newsletter. We now have an app. So if you're into apps, you know, wherever you get your apps, you can look up Cardinal News and
Cardinal
app on your
News
phone.
.org.
Pardon me?
Cardinalnews.org.
.org, yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right, he's Dwayne Yancey, executive editor, Cardinal News. Dwayne, we're so thankful for you and your team. Back in 2021, you know, somebody had to do something, and your team did. So well done, my friend, and best of luck to you. Like I said, I'm part of the flock now, so I'm in there with you. And go get them, Tiger.
thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dwayne.
And I have traveled such a distance just to see the smile that's on your face. And I have traveled far and wide, and I have died and lived and flown through time and space. And the most familiar happiness I've ever known is here with me again. Tucked away inside my home, this rolling stone has found a rock to call his friend. And if you wonder where my heart is when I'm out on the